Alright guys, day 27. I watched Tales from the Darkside, the movie, which I haven't watched. I haven't watched the show ever, so I know nothing about the show. I just know that it does anthologies, like something like Tales from the Crypt, which I have seen episodes on. But Tales from the Darkside, though, I've never watched any episodes. So this is going in clean to this sort of anthology series. And the movie itself, I was like, okay, I can watch this because it's like its own thing. I mean, it's just, I bet it's just like the show, or just is anthology things inside of the show. But the movie, for me, I thought was really funny because, like these anthology movies, just like whenever I first watched Tales from the Crypt Demon Knight, they did it with the Crypt Keeper at the beginning and the end, and they do that too here. But it's about a kid who is trapped by a witch in a cell, and he's gonna be eaten by her, and he has to tell her 3 stories from the Tales from the Darkside book. So I thought that was pretty funny, and I did like that as the beginning and the end, like in these anthology movies. I think that's so cool when they do that. I think just this was entertaining. With the kid was really funny. It was a young Matthew Lawrence, the kid who was in Mrs. Doubtfire, and I don't remember what else, but I know him by name because of that reason. But he's the young kid, and the girl who plays the witch, the woman who plays the witch, is hilarious. Like, she's so funny. The way that she tells him, like, you better hurry it up, you're about to get eaten soon. Like stuff like that makes it really hilarious to me. And I really do like the beginning and the end. That's really cool. And the stories themselves, now again, like most anthology movies, there are 3 stories. The first story is about a mummy, and the second story is about a killer cat, and the third story is about a gargoyle. And I thought that's cool that they have like a trend of like different creatures like through each of the stories. I thought that was pretty creative. And like most anthology movies, though, they vary. Like, if they have more than one anthology in the movie, like, they vary for me, and this one is no different. I'd say out of the 3 stories, I, of course, like the killer cat one, because I just really love cats. And that one just really was entertaining. And I guess the one after that would be the guy who encounters the gargoyle, which would be my second favorite. And then the third, my least favorite, the third one would be the first story about the mummy. Even though it was fine, it just wasn't like, I don't know, it wasn't anything that, like, out of the 3 I loved. Like, I thought it was fine. Like, the first story, I thought it was fine. But also, this movie's got a great cast in it. Like, it's got a really good amount of people. Like, it's got Julianne Moore and Steve Buscemi and Christian Slater and, like, William Hickey. It's got a lot of people that I like seeing. This came out in 1990, so some of them weren't even big at all. Like, Julianne Moore, like, the earliest I think I've seen a movie with her, and it was, like, 97 or 98 with Boogie Nights or Jurassic Park 2. Like, I think that those... I don't think I've seen her in any movie earlier than that, so I thought it's funny that she's really young in this movie. And because, of course, it's 1990, but I thought it was funny seeing her in this. And Christian Slater, I thought really was fun in that first story, even though that first one was my least favorite. I did like Christian Slater in it. He's really kind of hamming it up, and he's really good at that, and I really liked his performance in it. And William Hickey is great as this guy in the second story who's really terrified of this cat. And it's really, really just fun with his character as well. And speaking of my favorite one out of the 3, the cat story, I won't spoil it because you guys should see this yourselves if you haven't seen this movie, which, like me, you should have already seen it and not be like me and not seen it yet. But I'm glad that I saw it for a first watch to talk about on the channel. But regardless, I wanted to see it earlier than now. But my favorite story, though, the one with the cat, I don't want to spoil it. But there is a moment in the movie with what the cat does. It just genuinely shocked me. I sat there and I was just like, holy shit, like, that is amazing to watch that. Like, it blew me away. And just that moment alone. And if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. But if not, I'm not going to say it because some people haven't seen it like me. So that was my favorite story out of the 3. But I think all 3 stories are solid. But all 3 of the stories, to me, they do kind of vary. Like, they're not all, like, the one I like the most, I like a lot. The one I like the least, I think is okay. And it's just, again, like these anthology movies, it's usually, I never really fully love every single one of them. There's usually one I really love, or there's one or two that I like, but I've never really loved all three, usually in anthology movies. I've yet to see one where I really truly love every single story equally, like in any kind of anthology movie. But as is, I thought this was a really cool watch and really worth it. Like, this was a really awesome, creative, and unique anthology movie. And again, I haven't seen the show, so maybe this is like the show, but I really did dig this movie. This is a really awesome watch. So I really am glad I finally got to see Tales from the Dark Side, the movie. And if you've seen this movie, tell me down below what you guys think. And thank you guys so much for watching.
That means you have to be in the oven by no later than 1:30.